For any small business out there today, your website is so much more than just a page online. It's your digital storefront, it's your very first handshake, and it's probably the single most important impression you're ever going to make on a potential customer. Honestly, it's everything. So, I've got a question for you, and I want you to be honest with yourself. Is your website actively working against you? It's a tough pill to swallow, but an old, clunky, or unprofessional site isn't just sitting there doing nothing. It might actually be losing you money, like right now, every single day. 5 seconds. That's it. Seriously, that is all the time you get. When a brand new visitor lands on your site, they're making a split-second decision in 5 seconds or less about whether they trust you and if they want to do business with you. It is such an incredibly small window of opportunity. And yeah, that's what we call the 5-second test. What happens in those few crucial moments? Well, that's where so many businesses, especially small ones, completely drop the ball. It's where you either win a customer for life or lose them before you even get a chance to say hello. And just look at this, right? The connection is super clear. Your site is slow to load, boom, they're gone. If it looks terrible on their phone, you've just created frustration and you've probably lost their trust for good. A confusing design means no one knows where to click, so they don't call, they don't fill out your form, they just click right over to your competitor. This is literally how customers slip through your fingers without you ever knowing they were there. Okay, so this begs the question, right? If a professional website is so important, why doesn't every single business have an amazing one? Well, for a lot of folks, it all boils down to one massive roadblock: the crazy cost of hiring a traditional design agency. And look, that fear, it's not crazy. It's not at all unusual for a big agency to throw a number like this at you, or sometimes even higher. For a startup or a small local shop, a number like that isn't just a chunk of change. It's a brick wall. This chart pretty much says it all, doesn't it? Over on one side, you've got that typical agency price tag. Way over on the other, you have the reality of a small business budget. I mean, that gap is just massive. But, hang on, look at that third bar there, the smart alternative. The good news is, there is a much better way to close that gap. So here's the deal, and this is the most important part. You don't have to pick between a terrible website and an empty bank account. There's a much, much smarter way to hire real professional talent that actually fits your budget. You get the same high-quality work, just without that crazy agency price tag. Okay, so how does this actually work? Well, platforms like Fiverr, they make the whole thing incredibly straightforward. You can see a designer's actual work in their portfolio, you can read real reviews from other business owners, just like you, and you can compare their packages up front so you know exactly what you're getting. It just takes all the guesswork out of it and lets you hire someone feeling totally confident. But let's get real. What are you actually paying for when you hire a pro? It's way more than just a pretty design. A truly professional website is a finely tuned business machine. So let's break down the stuff that really matters, the things that turn a simple site into a tool that brings in customers. Okay, this is the stuff that really moves the needle. Mobile responsiveness, that's not just some tech buzzword. It's how you reach your customers on their phones, which is where they are all day. An SEO-friendly structure, that's not just jargon. That's how you make it easy for Google to find you, so it actually shows you to the people who are looking for you. And a clear call to action, that's not just a button. That is the engine that turns someone just browsing into an actual paying customer. That's the huge difference between a website that's just there and one that actually makes you money. All right, so now we know what a great site is made of, and we know there's a smarter way to hire someone. The last piece of the puzzle is picking the right person for your project. And believe me, making a smart hire here is honestly one of the biggest moves you can make for your business. So, to make it super easy, here's a little checklist you can use. First off, really dig into their portfolio. Then, read what their most recent clients are saying. See if they've worked with businesses like yours before. And always, always ask about the practical stuff, like SEO and whether you get a few rounds of revisions included. And if there's one thing you remember from all this, let it be this. A slightly bigger investment in a quality designer who gets what you're trying to do, well, that's not an expense. That's an investment in an asset that can make you thousands and thousands of dollars down the road. You're not just buying a website, you're buying results. You're buying customers. So let's end with this thought. Every single day that you're operating with a website that isn't pulling its weight, you're missing out. Your competitors are online right now, connecting with the very customers you should be serving. The only real question left is, what are you waiting for?